Congresswoman, we've been talking about crime this morning, been talking about what happened over the weekend, not just in Oakland and New York, Philadelphia, but also Chicago. The number of deaths just continue to go up. The acts of violence, gun crimes, I think 100 this past weekend. It's just unthinkable. How do we stem that tide of violence that's been gripping Chicago for a long time? What can we do to support law enforcement? Do we need more police officers on the street as we move to reform policing? What do we do to let police officers know in Chicago that members of Congress, the mayor, others have their back when they're doing their job?
So wait. Did y'all hear that? This video is brought to you by Extreme Tees. Click on the link below. Make sure you put Kevin in the promo code and you'll get a 20% discount. Now, inflation is a thing of the past, right? But last month, inflation in the U.S. had the highest rise in 29 years. So with rising food and gas costs, it's an urgent problem if you're thinking about retiring soon. You need an inflation dam in order to stop your savings and assets from eroding in value. Noble Gold's expertise in retirement planning and IRAs means their team of specialists is your first stop. Call them about this month's offer of a 1-ounce American Eagle pure silver-proof coin with an IRA at 877-646-5347. That is 877-646-5347. Now, let's get back to this video.
You know, as I share with Reverend now, I'm 34 years old. I grew up in the school shooting generation. And since I was in high school, we have not seen this country take decisive action to prevent gun violence. And it's something that now not only are millennials grappling with, we have Gen Z and today's students asking us to do something. You know, I was really disappointed to see that vote in the Senate and, you know, the posturing that we've seen among senators around this idea of even universal background checks, which then prevents us get to solutions like the assault weapons ban and very wildly popular policy solutions that we know would save lives in this country. At the end of the
Now, as I listen to this black lady who's young, wet behind the ears, and snotty-nosed, but of course works for the Democrat politicians and always skirt around addressing the main issues and try to project and deflect and use these opportunities on these liberal networks to address issues and topics that really don't attack the problem or provide a solution. It's just nothing more than a platform to segue into another agenda that they have. But yet they pretend that they're focused on the agenda or the problem that was initially brought up, which Joe was talking about, the violence in Chicago. Now, she somehow ends up talking about all of these shootings and, you know, an assault weapon ban, which I know when she says that, she's alluding to the AR-15, long guns that, you know, take magazines with multiple rounds and things of that nature, which once again, there's no definition of an assault weapon, but she knows that most of her audience doesn't know that. She knows that when she says assault weapon, in their minds, they're imagining an AR-15 because the Democrats have kind of coined that term to mean the AR-15 or something similar. So now she goes from addressing the problem of the violence and the murders in Chicago to assault weapons. Well, if I was Beaker, I would stop her right there and say, excuse me, ma'am. Now, I hear what you're saying, but this is an ongoing problem. Every single weekend, tons of black folks are being shot and killed in the inner city. Are these people that's doing this shooting law-abiding citizens that went in and purchased their gun legally and went through a background check, or are these gangbangers and people like that? Secondly, are these people that's doing these shootings white nationalists or police officers? Are these all folks that for some reason don't live in that area and decides this weekend we're going to go on our annual kill black people in their own neighborhood, trip? Let's go down there and just go ahead and post up and start shooting them randomly. Or are these people who live in that neighborhood that are shooting each other, black on black? then the next question is, what type of weapon are they using? Because you seem to have prioritized a ban on assault weapons, which I need to know how many of these killings that's taking place in those neighborhoods are done with assault weapons. Crickets. That's right. Because see, what she's doing now is moving towards the real agenda, going after a particular weapon that most law-abiding citizens that are patriots own and do not go out and do what is taking place in Chicago. So why are you jumping over the real problem? Why are you saying, yeah, I know that this is right here in my face? All these killings every single weekend in black neighborhoods, as we dog the police, as we undermine the police, as we defund the police, as we demonize the police. And as we do that, it seems that the crime is going up and people are paying attention. All of these murders are taking place and folks are starting to wonder about our leadership. So we can't tell you it's our raggedy policies and our political agenda to demonize the police, defund them by pretending that we're doing it because of racism and stuff like that, which is contributing to an increase in all of this violence and crime. We can't tell you that. So somehow we got to go ahead and tie stuff into this issue and narrative that has nothing to do with it. Now, if you can't tell me how assault weapons and police reform and all of that stuff is contributing to the current problems in Chicago, then shut up. These are not problems. These are things that are taking place because Democrat policies are raggedy. These humans that's shooting everybody every weekend are not going to get background checks, and this will not decrease that type of shooting. These folks are not using assault weapons to do this. Well, their definition of an assault weapon to do this. So why are you talking about this? Why are you trying to distribute the blame as if really this is greater than our raggedy policies? Because she's a Democrat. And she expected all of those liberal viewers of MSNBC, as they sit there and allow her to spew this type of deflection and propaganda, won't be called into account. And neither was she. All of those black voters that unfortunately might be ignorant to what's really going on in politics in Chicago will watch her and they will say, yeah, it got to be a bigger problem than what's right in front of our face. And that's why I'm here to expose it. And you can send everybody this video of me exposing this woman's propaganda.
Today, we need a Congress that is willing to have the tough conversations around how to save lives, willing to call gun violence by every different form that it expresses itself as unacceptable, whether we're talking about intimate partner gun violence, whether we're talking about school-based violence, whether we're talking about random acts of violence in communities all across this country. This is not just an urban issue. It's not just a people of color issue. This is an issue affecting my suburban and rural community every day. And I hope that this Congress will find the courage to do the right thing to keep all of us safe in our communities.
You're right, lady. It's a Chicago problem. That's what it is. It's a Democrat problem. That's what it is. Don't be trying to distribute that blame, talking about it's not just a conservative problem, not an urban problem, it's not an inner city problem. Yes, it is. All of that stuff you just said is really not taking place in conservative cities and states. So what are you talking about? It's not just an inner city problem or urban problem. Yeah, it sounds to me like you're not willing to take personal accountability for what's going on in your city. It is absolutely crazy to me how they, for some reason, cannot look at the stats and the data and say, whoa, wait a minute, why are our numbers going up? Why does this seem to be happening every single weekend in our city? What are we doing wrong? Why isn't the crime rate going up in some of these conservative states and cities? So now, these random things that happen periodically in some of these other states and cities, you're now trying to lump that in with the malignant, current, constant problem that's taking place in your city and other Democrat-ran cities, and now trying to say, well, let's not just focus on us, even though we are the immediate threat. And let's not just worry about this bullet wound that we have in our chest. You also need to be worrying about that hangnail that you have on your foot. You also need to be worrying about that pimple you have growing on your butt, all of that stuff. These are important things too. So let's not just go to the doctor and say, hey, doc, why am I bleeding out of this big hole that's in my side right here? And please, can you stop it? You probably should say, and not only should you take a look at that, take a look at this hangnail and take a look at this pimple. And you know what? Every once in a while, I get a slight tingling in my fingers. Can you look at all of that first? Or at the same time, no, I think folks would probably say, what that got to do with the emergency right now? We'll deal with that later. Okay. So here she is trying to lump these second, third, fourth, fifth type issues in with the main issue. Just like a Democrat. Deflect, blend in, distribute the blame, all of those things. But you can't get that mess pulled over on me. You know why? Because I'm rocking my see-through garbage/nonsense glasses. Word. Now, God bless y'all. God bless America. Don't forget to hit that like button, share these videos, all that good stuff. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, all of that, Instagram, and Rumble. Links are in the bottom. Check out Extreme Teas, my sponsor. If you like their products, click on the link below. Put Kevin in the promo code. You get a 20% discount. All those who give in the super chats on my live shows, I appreciate that. Make sure y'all hit that notification button and set it to all, because YouTube told me only 25% of all my subscribers have hit the notification button and set it to all. That's why my videos are not being viewed and all that stuff. But just give them a black eye. Please do that. God bless y'all. God bless America. We see y'all next time in Kevin's Corner. Take care.